guys, I don't normally do poker videos, but this one hand is worth a video, I thought, because it's quite crazy, and it really put me in a tough spot. So micro stakes cash game, six-handed, I'm playing for about 45 minutes to an hour at the table. Know nothing about the players on the table, really, because it's an anonymous table. You don't know the players, they just come in, sit down, they get a number, that's it. The button's been really passive. I think the guy in Sons of the Gun, player 4, is a reg. Is playing reasonably tight. Probably a bit too on the tighter side rather than the loose, but nothing crazy going on there. And then we got two short stackers, player 5 and 6, and I think player 3 is a reg as well. Let's just join the table. Okay, so let's get the hand started. So under the gun opens, raise, get two folds, and the button re-raises. My first thought was, yes, I'm going to get some action. My second thought was, oh my god, he's raised. This means that he probably has a top 4%. That's what I think the button's got. So he's got the kings, the queens, the jacks, the ace king, the ace queen. Unlikely it's the ace king and the ace queen, but still, it's, not a thing that isn't possible, but it's a very low chance because I've got two aces. Anyway, we continue. So in this spot, obviously, I'm going to raise again. I'm going to cold 4. Don't really cold 4 bet a lot in the micros, and when you do, you should know it's for value, boys. Looking at the sizing, I think I should have went bigger, but with this sizing as well, I was also thinking I could induce under the gun to come back over the top or potentially put his stack in the middle. If he's playing his top 4% of his range, I'm assuming the button is playing the top 4% of his range because he's re-raised under the gun open and he doesn't normally raise at all. Like, I've been here for probably about 70, 80 hands and I've barely seen him raise a pot. Even just open pot, he has barely raised. So I'm thinking this hand must be a monster, what he's got. So you get the picture of what's going through my head. So, under the gun calls, and button calls. So now I'm thinking, the button doesn't seem that much of a strong player. He probably now hasn't got the top 4% of his range, because I reckon he would have slammed those 55 big blinds in the middle. If he had kings there, or queens, maybe not jacks. But I'm thinking now, what does he re-raise with that he doesn't shove the flop with? It makes absolutely no sense. At this point, the button could have 9-10 suited right now, in my mind. 9-10 suited all the way up to slow playing queens, kings. And then under the gun, what's he playing at? It feels like queens, jacks, maybe some ace kings, ace queens. I don't think he's got kings, so I think he would have jammed on me, because that would make perfect sense. And it would also get probably the button off if he did that. So I'm thinking about this whilst I'm tanking on this flop, by the way, guys. Flop doesn't hit the under the guns range at all, in my opinion, unless he's got two hearts. It does smash the button quite hard, which is my only concern, but for 55 big blinds, I'm never folding aces, regardless if the button's got me crushed or not. My only decision I'm thinking about is the under the gun. So I bet 2/3. Obviously when I bet 2/3, that's a really wet board. Then we get shoved on. My first thought is, has he flopped the set? That's the only thing that went through my mind when I saw that, and my heart sort of sank. And then we see this, and we get a snap call. There was not even a pause from the button, and he snap calls and rips in the last of his stack. This guy could have anything. This guy could have 9-10, 10s, jacks, queens, kings, aces. Well, not aces, but the ace-king combos. He could have 8-9 of hearts, which is what I was thinking about as well. Which again, I'm obviously probably 54% favourite, but three-way is probably less. Yeah, And player 1, he's probably got kings to jacks in his range now for doing that. He probably just didn't want to get it in. So after a bit of debate, because I wasn't even contemplating folding, because I thought somebody's got to have a set, but we just couldn't fold. It made no sense what was going on from the button, and I thought, you know, at the end of the day, it's one buy-in. It's a pretty sick spot for aces. If I'm crushed, but one of them could be on a draw, potentially, and the other one could have slow played an overpair. That's the two things went through my head. Because I thought the chance, how often they're going to have a set here, it's so unlikely they'd call that much pre to set mine. So I thought it was unlikely. That's what made me just rip it in. And what do they show up with? King 10 off and jacks. Did not expect King 10 off to show. The jacks, yeah, it makes sense how he played it. I wouldn't have ripped it in pre. But King 10 off, wow. I know I just showed that pot in about 5 minutes, but for me that pot, like, I tanked all the time bank as well on the flop about it. So I really was debating making a massive fold. I'm so happy I didn't. Well guys, hope you enjoyed the hand. Catch you later.